the harbinger of destruction. The atmosphere of Proxima Station crackled with tension as Admiral Westfield reviewed the holographic footage. His weathered face hardened at the sight of an entire colony reduced to ash. 7 worlds in 3 cycles, he muttered, running a hand through his silver hair. And now she's approaching our outer settlements. Behind him, the assembled officers shifted uncomfortably. The entity they tracked was known as Nyx, the Star Weaver, a being of crystalline beauty and unimaginable destruction. Her species, the Letharians, were ancient cosmic entities that fed on stellar energy, but Nyx was different. Where others of her kind harvested stars carefully, she left only devastation in her wake. Colonel Jansen stepped forward, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused. The Caldera system is completely gone, sir. 17 million souls, just, gone. The Admiral nodded grimly. And yet she spared the evacuation vessels. There's intelligence behind her actions, a pattern we haven't deciphered. The station's AI, Mira, projected new data across the viewscreen. Analysis indicates Nyx operates alone. Unusual for Letharians, who typically travel in clusters. Biological readings suggest abnormal energy signatures. Lieutenant Dominic Reed, newly assigned xenobiologist, studied the ethereal being on the display. Unlike the others, fascination rather than fear shone in his eyes. Nyx appeared almost human in form, if humans were made of swirling cosmic energy and starlight. Her body pulsed with the combined energy of consumed worlds, her eyes, iridescent pools of violet, containing galaxies of their own. She's in pain, Dominic said quietly. Admiral Westfield turned sharply. Explain, Lieutenant. Dominic pointed to the energy patterns. These fluctuations aren't attack patterns, sir. They're equivalent to neural spasms. I believe she's suffering from some form of energy poisoning or psychic trauma. You're suggesting we should feel sympathy for a being that's obliterated 7 populated systems? Colonel Jansen scoffed. I'm suggesting understanding her might be our only chance to stop her, Dominic replied evenly. Traditional weapons have proven useless. Miles away, beyond the reaches of their sensors, Nyx drifted among the debris of a small mining outpost she'd recently destroyed. The humans had fled before she arrived, good. She hadn't wanted to extinguish their lives, only their installation. Pain rippled through her luminous form. Each world she destroyed offered temporary relief from the agony that had plagued her since her exile. The Letharian Council had infected her with a degenerative energy parasite before casting her out, punishment for questioning their ancient ways. They hadn't expected her to survive, much less discover that consuming certain types of energy briefly neutralized the parasite. Unfortunately, those energies were often found in developing civilizations. Nyx gazed toward Proxima Station, sensing the concentration of minds focused on her. Unlike the others, one mind reached toward her with curiosity rather than fear or hatred. How strange, she thought. Perhaps this one would be different from the countless others who had tried to destroy her. Little did she know just how different Lieutenant Dominic Reed would prove to be. The unexpected encounter. Lieutenant Dominic Reed secured his research vessel's airlock and checked his equipment one final time. The small ship, barely larger than a shuttle, hummed quietly as it drifted through the asteroid field where Nyx had last been detected. Lieutenant, this mission is unauthorized and extremely ill-advised, the ship's AI reminded him for the 12th time. Admiral Westfield has explicitly ordered all personnel to maintain distance from the Star Weaver. Noted, Tess, Dominic replied, adjusting the specialized scanner he'd modified. But conventional approaches have failed. If I'm right about her condition, communication might be possible. Colonel Jansen had dismissed his theory as sympathetic nonsense, but Dominic had seen something in the energy patterns that haunted him. His parents, both xenobiologists killed during first contact with the Vraxian horde, had taught him that understanding preceded peace. The scanner pulsed, detecting a massive energy signature ahead. Through the viewport, space itself seemed to ripple and bend, stars distorting around a central point of swirling light. Nyx. She was even more magnificent up close, her form a constantly shifting tapestry of cosmic energy, like the northern lights of Earth condensed into a vaguely humanoid shape. Where her face should be, two violet orbs observed his approach with unmistakable intelligence. Dominic's heart pounded as he activated the ship's external speakers. No weapons, no shields, just words and hope. "I am Lieutenant Dominic Reed of Earth," he broadcast. "I've come alone and unarmed. I believe you're suffering, and I want to help if I can." For several terrifying moments, nothing happened. Then, his ship's systems flickered as an otherworldly voice resonated through them, not through the comm system, but directly into the electronics themselves. "You are different," the voice whispered, simultaneously distant and intimately close. "The others send weapons. You send words." Dominic swallowed hard. "The others don't see what I see. You're infected with something, an energy parasite or corruption. It's causing you pain, isn't it? That's why you destroy certain installations." The cosmic form drifted closer, enveloping his ship in a gentle aurora. Dominic's instruments went wild, but rather than fear, he felt wonder wash over him. "The Council's punishment," Nyx confirmed. "It feeds on my essence unless I consume specific energy signatures. Your kind calls it quantum-dimensional radiation. Your colonies generate it as waste. So you're not destroying for pleasure or conquest," Dominic whispered. "You're self-medicating." "I take only what I need to survive," she replied, a note of defensiveness in her ethereal voice. "I warn populations to evacuate when possible." Dominic's mind raced. "If you're seeking QD radiation, we might be able to synthesize it. Create a sustainable source that doesn't require destruction." For the first time, the swirling energies of Nyx's form stilled slightly. "You would help me? When your leaders hunt me? When your kind names me destroyer of worlds?" Dominic smiled, though he knew she probably couldn't interpret the expression. "My kind also includes healers, builders, and those who seek understanding before judgment." A gentle tendril of light extended from Nyx's form, touching the hull of his ship like a curious finger. "Then show me, Dominic Reed of Earth. Show me this alternative. Before the pain returns and I must feed again." Behind them, proximity alarms blared as 3 military vessels emerged from hyperspace, weapons systems charging. "Breaking barriers. Lieutenant Reed, power down your vessel and retreat immediately." Commander Garrison's voice thundered through the comm system. "We are authorized to fire upon the entity." Dominic's fingers flew across the controls, opening a secure channel. "Commander, please stand down. I've established communication. She's not attacking, she's ill. You have 30 seconds to clear the engagement zone," came the cold reply. Nyx's form pulsed with agitation, tendrils of energy flaring outward. "They will not listen. They never listen. Please," Dominic urged her, "don't attack. It will only confirm their fears." He switched channels again. "Commander, the Starweaver destroys our outposts because they produce radiation that temporarily relieves her condition. This isn't malice, it's survival." The military vessels continued their approach, weapon systems glowing ominously. Dominic made a split-second decision. "Nyx, can you transport us both to my research laboratory on Proxima Station? I have equipment there that might help analyze your condition." The cosmic being hesitated. "To enter your station would place me at risk." "I know I'm asking for trust you have no reason to give," Dominic acknowledged. "But those ships will fire in seconds, and I can't help you if we're both vaporized." Just as the first warning shot streaked past his vessel, Dominic's surroundings dissolved into a cascade of swirling light. His stomach lurched as reality itself seemed to fold around him. When the sensation passed, he found himself standing in his laboratory, equipment sparking as Nyx's energy field interfered with the electronics. "Remarkable," Dominic breathed, steadying himself against a workbench. "You can traverse space without conventional transport." A basic capability of my kind, Nyx replied, her form condensing to fit within the confines of the lab. Your security systems. Temporarily offline during the power fluctuation, Dominic explained, moving quickly to a specialized scanner. But we don't have much time before they detect your energy signature. He worked feverishly, analyzing the parasitic energy patterns within Nyx's luminous form. The data confirmed his hypothesis: the parasite required specific quantum frequencies to be neutralized. I can design a resonance chamber that would generate the energy you need, he explained, showing her the schematics forming on his screen. No destruction required. Before Nyx could respond, the laboratory door burst open. Security Chief Okoye stood in the doorway, weapon raised. Step away from it, Lieutenant, she ordered, her dark eyes never leaving Nyx's shifting form. Chief Okoye, please, Dominic began, stepping between them. The entity has infiltrated our station and compromised our systems, Okoye stated flatly. Admiral Westfield has ordered its immediate neutralization. Nyx's form brightened defensively. I came peacefully at his request. Okoye's eyes widened slightly at the direct communication, but her weapon remained steady. It speaks. She speaks, Dominic corrected. And she's a refugee seeking medical help, not an invader. A tense standoff followed, broken by Admiral Westfield's arrival with Colonel Jansen and a full security team. Lieutenant Reed, the Admiral said, his voice dangerously calm. You have exactly 1 minute to explain why you've brought the destroyer of 7 worlds into my station. Dominic stood tall beside Nyx, whose form had settled into a gentle glow rather than an aggressive flare. Sir, I believe we've fundamentally misunderstood the situation. Nyx isn't destroying worlds out of malice, she's been infected with an energy parasite by her own people. The specific radiation from our quantum drive systems temporarily alleviates her suffering. And this justifies billions dead? Colonel Jansen demanded. No deaths were necessary, Nyx interjected, her voice resonating through the room's systems. I warned your colonies. They evacuated. Admiral Westfield studied the cosmic being with calculating eyes. You expect us to believe you're simply ill? I expect nothing, Nyx replied. But I accepted his offer of help when no others would give it. Part 4, The Ultimate Test. Admiral Westfield ordered the laboratory sealed and placed under guard while an emergency council convened. For hours, Dominic argued passionately for Nyx's case, presenting the data he'd gathered about her condition. The cosmic being remained eerily still throughout, her luminous form dimmed to a gentle glow that pulsed occasionally with pain. The evidence is compelling, acknowledged Dr. Nida Varna, the station's chief xenobiologist, as she reviewed Dominic's findings. The parasitic energy structure is unlike anything we've encountered, but its pattern is clearly designed to cause maximum suffering without death. Colonel Jansen remained unconvinced. So we're supposed to help this creature that's destroyed 7 of our worlds because she claims it was all a misunderstanding? No worlds were destroyed, Nyx corrected, her voice rippling through the room's systems. Installations. Facilities. Materials. I preserved life where possible. 17 major colonies reduced to ash, Jansen countered. Trillions in damages. Would you not burn a structure to save yourself from agony? Nyx asked simply. Admiral Westfield held up a hand, silencing further debate. Lieutenant Reed, your proposition is that we can synthesize this quantum-dimensional radiation and provide it to the entity. Nyx, Dominic interjected respectfully. To Nyx, the Admiral continued with a slight nod, thereby eliminating her need to target our installations. Yes, sir. The resonance chamber I've designed would generate a concentrated stream of QD radiation that should neutralize the parasite for extended periods. With refinement, we might eventually develop a permanent cure. The council erupted into heated discussion. Security Chief Okoye argued for caution, while Dr. Varna supported scientific exploration of the solution. Colonel Jansen remained staunchly opposed, calling for Nyx's immediate containment or destruction. Before the Admiral could render his decision, the station's emergency alert system blared to life. Commander Fitzgerald's voice cut through the chaos. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple spatial rifts forming around the station. Energy signatures match Letharian patterns but at exponentially higher levels than our previous encounter." The view screen activated to reveal a terrifying sight. 5 massive beings similar to Nyx but glowing with the cold light of ancient stars had surrounded Proxima Station. Unlike Nyx's shifting aurora of colors, these entities pulsed with uniform, calculating precision. "The Council," Nyx whispered, her form flickering with what Dominic recognized as fear. "They've found me." The largest of the Letharians projected its voice directly into the station's communication systems, bypassing all encryption. "Humans of Terra. You harbor a criminal condemned by the Letharian Eternal Council. Surrender the one called Nyx immediately, or we will reduce your station and surrounding worlds to their component atoms." Admiral Westfield stood. "This is Admiral Garrett Westfield of the United Earth Alliance. We are providing medical assistance to Nyx under our protocols for sentient beings in distress. We request diplomatic dialogue." A dismissive pulse of energy shook the station, knocking several people off their feet. "Your species is young and ignorant," the Letharian responded. "Nyx was sentenced to eternal suffering for questioning the ancient order. Her destruction of your outposts threatens the balance of energy we maintain across this galactic sector. Surrender her or perish." Dominic looked at Nyx, whose form had contracted to a tight, defensive ball of light. "They infected you for questioning them? I discovered the Council has been manipulating developing civilizations for millennia," she explained, her voice barely audible through the system. "They seed worlds with quantum-dimensional generators, wait for sentient life to evolve around them, then harvest both when the energy reaches optimal levels. I proposed we find alternative energy sources that didn't require such cultivation." Horror dawned on Dominic's face. "Earth was seeded 2 million years ago," Nyx confirmed. "Your quantum drive technology didn't develop naturally. The radiation it produces is designed to attract my kind when it reaches harvesting levels." Admiral Westfield's expression darkened. "They've been farming us. As they have done with countless civilizations before yours," Nyx said. "The parasite they infected me with was designed to force me to seek out maturing QD sources, to become the harbinger of their arrival." The Letharian voice boomed again. "Your final warning, humans. Surrender the criminal." Colonel Jansen stepped forward. "We should comply, Admiral. We can't risk the entire station, the entire Earth, for one alien entity." Dominic moved to stand beside Nyx. "If we surrender her, we're just offering ourselves up for harvesting later. They've admitted what they're doing. We have no weapons capable of affecting them," Security Chief Okoye pointed out. "Lieutenant Reed's resonance chamber is barely theoretical." Nyx's form straightened suddenly, expanding to her full luminous height. "There is another option." All eyes turned to her. "The parasitic energy within me can be reversed, turned against its creators. It would require channeling it through your station's main reactor, creating a feedback pulse targeted at the precise frequency of the Council's core essence." Dr. Varna looked alarmed. "That would require incredible precision and would likely destroy our reactor in the process. And would kill you," Dominic realized, studying the calculations forming on his screen. "The parasite is bound to your essence. Reversing it would tear you apart at the quantum level." Nyx's form pulsed gently. "A fitting end, perhaps. My existence has brought only destruction." "No," Dominic protested. "There has to be another way. My resonance chamber would help only me," Nyx interrupted softly. "The Council would still harvest Earth when the time comes. This way, their power is broken forever." Admiral Westfield studied the cosmic being thoughtfully. "Why would you sacrifice yourself for us? For a species you barely know?" Nyx's form shifted toward Dominic, a tendril of light briefly touching his cheek. Because one of you showed me kindness when I deserved none. Because your Lieutenant Reed offered help instead of hatred. Because some things are worth dying for. The station rocked violently as the Letharians began their assault. Warning lights flashed throughout the complex. Hull breach on levels 7 through 9, Commander Fitzgerald reported. Shields failing. We have minutes at most. Admiral Westfield looked at Nix, then at Dominic, whose eyes pleaded for another solution. Finally, he nodded grimly. Engineer Takeo, prepare to route all power to the main reactor on my command. Dr. Varna, work with Lieutenant Reed to calculate the precise frequency required. Colonel Jansen, evacuate all non-essential personnel to the emergency shelters. He turned to Nix. If we're doing this, we're doing it together. As the station shuddered under another attack, Dominic grabbed Nix's data tablet, his fingers flying across the surface. If we modify the resonance chamber design, we might be able to channel the energy without destroying you completely. It's a long shot, but... Thank you, Nix interrupted, her voice gentle, for believing there was more to me than destruction. Outside, the Letharian Council closed in, unaware that their punishment was about to become their undoing.